Hey, you want to see if you can keep up with the Barbie car? You ready?
Oh, if he gets 2 tires, I get 2 tires. He can't be higher than me.
I think 1 tire will be safer though.
Yeah. And I get my tea. Are you rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome everybody to Drift Week. We are at NOLA Motorsports Park having an amazing time. This is my favorite track so far. I love this track so much. We have Adam here with us, and we're gonna chat. I'm gonna grab a drink. I'm gonna combine 2 drinks into 1. Oh God. All right, this is not comfortable.
No, it's really not the best idea.
It's not comfortable at all. Okay, now, Sai, get closer. Can you? So I can deal with the audio better.
Help.
No, you're on your own. So, we are drifting today. It's really loud behind us, but I love doing interviews, and Adam's a good interview to do. So, we're gonna just chat about whatever. He said I can talk about anything, so, and first thing we'll talk about is we did this amazing interview last time out at Adam's kart track.
Oh, did it get lost?
Sai lost it. It was really good too.
We don't know. That hasn't been determined yet.
No, it never got launched. It got lost. So anyways, why are you doing Drift Week?
Oh, it's fun. I think the coolest allure of it to me is that we get to drive all these tracks in such a short period of time, where like to drive some of these tracks it would be a week-long journey just to drive it once, where like this way, rather than having to trailer my car out to Musselman and then just drive Musselman and be done, like I can hit Musselman, I can hit Speed Sports, I can hit NOLA, and like, I don't know, these are tracks I haven't gotten a chance to drive, and it kind of gives me an excuse to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm here too.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's an easy excuse, easy thing, but you have the chance to do anything you want. You can travel anywhere around the world. You can do anything your imagination sets it to. Do you have any other things that you would rather do than this? Like, was there anything in competition for it other than, I guess, FD right now?
Yeah, so I was on the verge of just abandoning going to Drift Week this year, just because it's so much, literally back to back from FD. Flew straight from FD to Arizona, and then as soon as I get home, I have like 1 day home and then straight to Irwindale. So, but I think also too, one thing is getting to drive with the same people for, you know, whatever, a week or two is cool, because you learn their style and you learn who you can trust.
Yeah. Hi guys, comment, like, and subscribe. And I have merch in the link below. Every merch thing you buy is $5 towards a giveaway waffle. I don't know, how does he do it? Sai, you have to help me out.
I don't know.
I don't know. He's looking at us. He's looking at us. Okay, but for real, the real thing is, thank you so much to all the sponsors. BC Racing Coilovers, we appreciate you. You support grassroots, professional drifting, silly things like Drift Week. You make all this content possible. You make tons of professional drifting possible. You make grassroots events possible. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to ECU Masters. ECU Masters is amazing. They support so many people, including the car I'm in right now. Adam, does this have an ECU Master ECU?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it does. So thank you so much to Zach over at ECU Master for always treating everyone so well and supporting the drift community. Wouldn't be the same without you guys, and this car would probably be blown up. I hope it doesn't blow up. I'm sure it didn't. And then, now I can't tell if I'm trolling. And then thank you to Y-Plate Imports, who imports JZXs and other cars. Go check out Y-Plate's inventory on their website at yplate.com or yplateimports.com. So I'll put it below.
You're bad at this.
I am so bad at this. And go check out what they do. Trenton over there is an amazing guy, takes care of events like this. I think he sponsors some tracks. He's an integral part of the drift community and helps people out. Thank you so much to those guys. Go check out their website. Let's go drive, Sai. Where's the key?
This is really uncomfortable. We're trying.
I know, I'm trying.
That doesn't look like a bad idea.
So, I was talking to Dan, and he's like, Aaron, you shouldn't have done it so soon. I was like, you guys told me to do it this soon. I was like, I could have totally waited longer, but everybody told me to do it, so I did it. And I was like, you didn't have to come, Dan. And he's like, well, I didn't want to miss out. I had the fear of missing out.
That was where I was at, because if I didn't go, I would have regretted not going.
Yeah. So I have people buy the whatever because they don't want to miss out. I wonder how long that'll last. You know, like, because a lot of guys, it's an expensive trip. It's 2 weeks. You could be doing content, doing anything. I'm sure some of your catchier content, like the Barra stuff, or, you know, like very specific stuff, does better than your drift week content. So this isn't really a YouTube thing. This is more of an Adam enjoys something thing.
For sure. It's kind of like drifting. It burns out audiences, I think.
Come closer, Si. That's a lot of audio problems.
It's very, very like tough to keep drifting fresh, and I find that when I go to Ebisu or on the last drift week, it kind of burns the audience out, especially with daily uploads. We're doing every other day now, so I think that helps. But yeah, it's definitely more so a fun thing. And you know, if we get to make good content along the way, sweet. But like, unless like something hugely eventful happens, it's usually not the best.
Yeah, that's got to be difficult. First of all, Si, you're looking up our noses.
Always.
Does it look good?
Should we talk to the camera or should I talk to you?
No, talk to the camera because the audio is getting bad. So you're making an active choice. How often in your life do you make an active choice to go do something because it does well in video versus what you actually want to do? Because sometimes I just don't want to get out of bed because, you know, after an event, because you do it constantly. You're in it every day, especially when you used to post every day. It was every day you had to do content. And oftentimes, like, I get off the plane from Ebisu, I just want to go to sleep. I don't want to do anything. You know, we travel, you're doing multiple travel days to get places sometimes, and you're still having to find things to post.
Yeah, so I think one of the key things for like not getting burnout on YouTube that's definitely helped me for whatever the past 3 or 4 years that I've been daily, moving into every other day, now having Mike, is doing stuff that I want to do. Otherwise, it's very, like you said, difficult because then it feels like you're living life for YouTube rather than just doing what you want to do. So yes, I'm doing the things that I want to do, but it's maybe sooner than I would like to do them, but it's still stuff that I inherently want to do and would do, if that makes sense. So it's not like I'm just doing this for content, but it might be something that I kind of want to do, but then the idea of the content pushes me to do it sooner and like jump on it more. Like the GT350 is a prime example. You know, when the car burned down, I've been wanting to mess with the Barra. I kind of wanted to seize the opportunity of like, you know, having this chassis to do it in. If it wasn't for the content, I might not have done it right then because I had to put everything else I was doing on the back burner. But knowing that that was like a time-oriented thing where it would be really smart to do it right then and keep it kind of fresh, that made me do it sooner, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, it keeps pressure on you to keep going all the time.
Yeah.
Do you storyboard out your videos ever, or do you have like a calendar and you know exactly what you're doing on each day, or is it really just like vlogging?
More so vlogging. Sometimes like prior to a work week, I will prioritize and like place things so we know what day to work on this, or like if there's going to be a dead day because I have to catch up a bunch behind the computer, then we'll plan to like do a bunch of BS maintenance that day because it doesn't matter to film it, and then the other days film. But I really storyboard out videos other than like, you know, a few times in all of YouTube if it's like a bigger concept kind of thing. And I have a project like that I'm trying to tackle in like December, but it's still not even storyboarded. It's just more so an idea that I know will do well. I just need to execute it in a timely manner and like sourcing all the parts and making sure that I have the right people in the right places to make it happen.
Makes sense. I try to sometimes plan out YouTube content and it doesn't do any better than just like the whatever content that I just post. I just like, if I just surround myself with interesting things like you and I just do this real quickly, it takes me a small amount of time to make and the video will do well, as opposed to me thinking through a project and I don't know, like if I were to go do a tire test and go test all the tires, and it would be so much work, it wouldn't do as well as just, you know, a chat or something, and it would be so much effort, so much money. I was gonna say, just, you know, some of my content took forever to make. I made really difficult content and burned myself out. So I was just curious how often you were doing difficult to work projects and how much you plan them.
I mean, your idea that you explained to me is kind of the same way that I go about it, because you surround yourself with interesting people. I just try to surround myself with interesting cars so that no matter what we're doing, it's kind of content in a way.
A neat thing about that too is you always have really nice things. They're always taken care of. They're always clean. Everything's detailed. All your stuff is always rad looking. My stuff is all crap box and like gross.
I try to, you know, like I have the means to do it. I have, you know, people to help keep things clean and orderly. So I would rather present myself in that way because it looks better to sponsors. It looks better about like the way that I care for my stuff. Unless if it's like an inherently like supposed to be a piece of shit car, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Does YouTubing bring you joy?
I really like seeing the comments and like just people being hyped on stuff, and like when people say nice things, it kind of, I don't know, I feel like we as a generation get a lot of gratification from social media and stuff. Not to say that that's where all my gratification comes from, but like, you know, if I'm really proud of some drifting clips or it's my best driving, it's sweet reading comments of people that are hyped on it, and like that gives me more joy, like sharing the experience more so than like, oh, look at my follower count, you know?
So if you get hyped on people liking your stuff and commenting and stuff, do you also get depressed when people say mean things on the internet? Because there's definitely a lot of people that say mean things probably, because I think anybody that gets enough people talking them, even if it's only 3% of the people, I don't want to throw somebody under the bus, but like one of our guys, Fielding, he was on Hyperdrive, he's doing all these amazing things. He has like 100-something thousand Instagram followers. Like, you know, he's making a path up. He's so excited about that because it helps his racing career. But at the same time, if there's 3% of people out there yelling at him, he gets depressed off that 1 to 3%, you know, that make fun of him or mean or whatever, which happens to everybody. I'm not picking on Fielding. Does that kind of stuff get you down, or are you like just thick-skinned and whatever?
I definitely wouldn't say I'm thick-skinned, but I've just been dealing with it for so long. Like since 2008, 2009, and like the beginning of my BMX world, I've been dealing with like hate, and it's always kind of propelled me more so to do better. But I spend a lot of time and put like a lot of thought into anything that's like a fragile topic. Like, you know, me talking with you about paid ride-along stuff, because that's not something I'd done before. Like I had conversations with probably a dozen different people, how I was going to word it, how I was going to explain it, because it's something that I could see being a sensitive issue that could upset some people, and like I just wanted to make people happy and make sure that it wasn't a sore subject. So I definitely pride myself in managing my PR as best as I possibly can.
Yeah, you're very good at that too. You present yourself super well with cars, with your image, with your clothing, with your body, like everything. You stay in shape. You're kind of like, no, it's real though.
I don't stay in shape.
You look like you stay in shape. You just have good genetics or something. You're like, oh, my back, it hurts so bad. This is not comfortable. Not comfortable at all. But you do a really good job at that, and you're young and everything, and that works really well on YouTube. Someone like myself, I have no hair, I'm old, like I'm coarse, I yell at people. I literally just yelled at people on track. I was cussing at them, like threatening to get them kicked out. Everybody at once too. Like I don't worry about that stuff. I'm like the drift dad guy yelling at people. I don't think my type of character would scale well or whatever. I mean, maybe it would, but I don't really post enough. You do an amazing job though at controlling that. I don't know where I'm going with that. Is that like actually controlled, do you think, all of it? Or you just have good sense of style, you like stylish cars, you do all this stuff?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. I definitely value the core just as much, if not more, than the majority. So like, it's way more important to me that like, you know, homies that are into chasers like my car than it is for like mass public to like my car. So a lot of times like I'll find myself, you know, building like stock body, like cleaner cars that are more so my taste and would like fit in well with a purist or like a core dude, rather than trying to do the typical big wing, wide body, like stancy stuff, if that makes sense. So I much more value the respect of like the drifting community than people that don't know what drifting is. But I still value everyone's opinion. I don't want to like discredit that, but that's more important to me.
I don't value everyone's opinion. Some people are just wrong. No, I'm just joking. I do have something to talk about that I thought was interesting. Do you remember, I was going to get it from your perspective, do you remember the reason I said that you should go to Japan with me?
No.
Well, the very first time we chatted about everything, I pulled you aside and I said you were super dangerous for drifting. Do you remember this? I only vaguely remember this conversation. I told you, like, I want you to come to Japan and come do some fun stuff with me, because Taylor Ray was telling me you were building a 3.4 liter JZ and all this stuff is like your first drift car or whatever. And I was like, Adam, you have the ability to ruin drifting for a lot of people because you're so influential. I was like, come to Japan with me, come have fun in like a stock car, go do all this, you know, rad stuff, and see, like, let me show you drifting from my perspective so you fall in love with my version of it, instead of immediately going and building, like, I'm sure a bunch of YouTubers immediately built crazy cars and like trapped themselves into a corner where they're almost embarrassed to drive it in front of anybody. The car's over their head and the learning curve is not correct.
And
the
it
tire,
doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. The tire wear is too crazy for them to manage. All those things. You don't remember that talk at all?
I don't remember the talk, but I definitely remember I kind of got like pushed into that, you know, like sponsors, people working on the car.
The Japan thing?
No, into
okay.
overbuilding that car, because like I didn't really know much at the time. Like, you know, when I got my S13, I had never really worked on a car before. Like I installed coilovers on my E46, but I was not a car person. I had never like worked on an engine or anything like that, and you know, I had a lot of good guiding figures in my life. Taylor was one of the main people that was like, yo, get an S13 with an SR. I found a stock one, and he helped me, like, started me off with like a very grippy setup, which I think was like really key for learning. But then I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, well, the SR is not reliable because I had a bunch of dumb issues. And then I was like, 2JZ is super reliable. And then I was like, oh, but what if I don't like the torque and it's too laggy? So then it was like 3.4. Now I know a lot else. It's ironic that engine ended up eventually going in the S15, which is a Pro 1 car now.
Yeah. You were literally
irony.
building a Pro 1 car as you're like just starting out kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But I mean, at that point, when we were building the 3.4, I had been driving for like 2 years, which I know is kind of starting out, but it's not like I was just learning.
Going back to that, do you think it was influential to go to Japan and like all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, I came back and I was like, fuck that, I'm keeping an SR in that car.
It's, I really enjoy dragging a bunch of people and kind of like...
Ruining them.
No, it's not ruining them. Showing them the version of drifting you want it to be. I'm sure you've done that to other people.
Yeah.
Colette, you've changed Colette now?
Yeah,
Have you not?
it's the same exact thing. Like she's like stuck, kind of being pushed to do these like crazy over-the-top rotary builds, and you know just wants to drive and loves driving, but has cars that keep breaking and like issues. And when I first met her, our first conversation was like, you need to get 350Z, you need to get 350Z, get a 350Z, come drive.
Yeah.
And so like I try to be like a little Aaron Losey, but a little bit less harsh and abrasive.
The better looking, more fun version that everybody likes more.
She met you, she's like, oh, he sounds just like the stuff that you say, except meaner. No, I'm just kidding.
I shouldn't say this.
What?
Did she tell you what I said on the first phone call? I felt bad. I was like, oh, now she's gonna hate me.
Oh, you're like, listen, I don't want any fucking 350Zs on this trip, but you're Adam LZ's girlfriend, so you can get away with it, or something like that.
So what I said, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. No, I told her, I said, she goes, what do I need to do? Do I need a YouTube? Do I need to do anything specific? What are the requirements for me to come? I was like, oh, you're just with Adam. I was like, just keep Adam happy. Don't stress him out. Don't make my life difficult with Adam. I was like, I just want you to have fun, and I want you to just do stuff. I was like, you're in with Adam, just don't worry about it. And I was like, I don't need any 350Zs or whatever. I don't remember all that stuff, because she's like, should I bring my RX-7? I'm like, God, no. I was like, do not bring your RX-7. You'll make everyone's life so hard, because, you know, it'll stress you out and everything. And I think that she was just like, oh, God, Aaron's a jerk. Yeah. But I was just super blunt. I was just like, I just want you to have a good time. Both of you, don't stress each other out. Don't you think the RX-7 would have been a stressor on this trip?
100%. Have you seen her driving today?
No, she's killing it.
Yeah.
She's killing it. And you would not do that in... Again, I talked to her about the RX-7. I'm like, isn't the Z better? She's like, no, the RX-7's amazing. And I'm like, people get in love with their cars, because I do the same thing. I'm like, my car's great, and then they're like, Aaron, it breaks every 5 seconds. You're never on track. I'm like, the car's still good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's cool though, just seeing her drive and like progress each lap. It gets me excited.
Yeah. No, she's killing it. For you to be tanning with her, and I don't think she had a lot of confidence on the first day or two of this trip.
The Muscleman was very weird on this trip. Yeah. I think because they just resurfaced it. Like, I was like upset. I was annoyed with my car. I thought it was like my setup. I couldn't drive. I was like, I'm not having fun. I don't know what happened. Maybe I got used to my S15. Like, my chaser's terrible. I think that track was just like, the varying grip differences was just doing weird things to the cars.
I hope it settles in, because I love that track.
It got 10 times better towards the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Kevin Williams was telling us that there was no grip when he got there, and then we showed up and everybody had to raise their air pressures and all that stuff. But yeah, no, I was going to say, she's absolutely killing it. It's very similar to the first time we took you to Japan. The first 3 days of your video are like, I crashed my car again, up the bank, remember that? Yeah. And then by the end of the trip, you were killing it. There's just so much progression when you get to drive this much, because she's probably already done hundreds of laps with you.
Yeah, she's I call her the Energizer Bunny, because like, if she didn't have to cool down her tires, she would just go through a full tank of gas without ever leaving track.
It's amazing. That's probably... I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but that's probably more laps on this trip than she's taken in her RX-7 the entire time it's been around.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, no, she's probably, 100%.
And when I was on the phone with her, I'm like, don't bring the RX-7, you won't get any laps. You know, I just keep telling people, and I'm blunt. I'm like, don't bring it. and I don't remember if she really wanted to bring it that bad, but I
think she
remember.
did.
Yeah, but anyways, I just kept pushing for that kind of idea, and I tell everybody, Dakota Bowman, he was like, oh, my car is 100% reliable, I won't have a problem, because we led a rotary on the trip this time. I don't know, has he taken really any laps? I'm sure he has, but
I'm not sure.
You know, the car has been worked on a lot. All the cars that got built right before the event, not all of them, but a bunch of it, a disaster. Anyways, I'm talking too much. What do you want to talk about?
I don't care. Whatever you want to talk about. You tell me something. Sai, what do you want to talk about?
Oh,
What?
I know something. We talked about this in the last one, and we'll just recover this because we didn't talk to him in the, like, Sai lost the file. How do you deal with the emotional ups and downs of you? There was no YouTuber school. There's no one telling you how to YouTube. There's no one preparing you for this kind of stuff. You have so many people that are famous, like Jim Morrison or I don't know, all those celebrities that, you know, kill themselves kind of thing because they can't chemically balance. The highs are so high, the lows are so low. You're totally different. You're not a rock star. You don't have a million people yelling at you, but you are super famous. Wherever we go, people want to talk to you. They want your attention. You're getting dragged away from what you want to do, just like you're being dragged in so many directions. Do you have problems with emotional ups and downs and all these things, or are you pretty resilient to it? Like, does it affect your life so much? Do you have panic attacks? Like, what's up?
That's a really good one. I feel like there's like a couple different like avenues I can go down on that. Definitely, I used to be a lot more affected. Like I went through some shit like 2 or 3 years ago, and it affected me a lot. But I think the hardest thing of that was having to like kind of fake put on a smile and like go about making videos and continue doing that because it is my livelihood and push through and like in that time not really like be able to be open about what was going on in my life or talk to people and having that closed off feeling even though so many people are around you, that was really rough. But I kind of like, I don't know, I just figured it out and just kind of figured out how to go about life a little bit differently and, you know, just find fun in many different ways, like surrounding myself with friends. And I think friends help more than anything, just like surrounding yourself with good people. But yeah, super, super bad anxiety attacks for a while. Like when I first started drifting, or not even when I first started drifting, but I think it was the first time it ever happened, I was at Winter Jam. And there were so many people that came up to me and I was like trying to go to the bathroom or get some food and I couldn't. And I freaked out. I just like had to sit in the trailer and like chill.
Wow.
It was weird. I get that way a lot when there's a lot of people. But it helps a lot having Country here. He's here and he just kind of helps just make sure everybody's happy, because what stresses me out more than anything isn't the people or that they want photos. It's, you know, the chance that, you know, there's 200, 300 people and I accidentally offend one person because I missed them saying hi and then ruin their day, and then they go and are mad at me on the internet, and like that, those comments affect me more than anything. If someone's like, yo, I went here and you were a dick to me and this, when like I had no idea that situation happened, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
Because I care more about that than anything else. I want everyone to have fun, and that's the hardest thing to manage, is because I'm an introvert naturally, so I'm not just gonna go up to a bunch of random people and be like, hey, yo, are you here to talk to me? Because God forbid it's like a drift dude that like doesn't give a fuck about me. He's gonna be like, oh, that dickhead thinks that he came up to me and I'm here for him. So that's always the biggest challenge. Do you kind of know what I mean?
I 100% know in a different way, but since I host events, I feel absolute pain. Like Clayton from Fine Arc was the best host ever for 2 drift weeks. We went to his shop, we used it, amazing guy, such a good time there, so helpful. He puts everybody in front of himself. I feel bad he's doing that so much. They built Drift Week cars specifically, 2 of them. His Z4M, you know, driving it here, he totaled it, basically.
Really?
He had a deer. You didn't see the deer?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh no, it took out the headlights, the bumper, the core support, the trunk, like the hood, probably the windshield and the glass. Took out the radiator, the oil cooler, the headlights, everything. So like they couldn't fix it. It was
Where's the
too
car?
much. It got dropped off at Harrison's in Texas.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
So yeah, he's not being able to drive. And I offered my SC300, I offered him my S14. I'm like, just go drive. Like, I felt so bad because he's so helpful. Like, these guys, you know how expensive Drift Week is. He built an entire car, took 2 weeks out of his life. You know, like, it is expensive. It is a lot. It's a bucket list trip. It's amazing. And for someone to, like, on the road, his first out-of-town event with us, wrecks the car.
That sucks.
Breaks my heart. And then Jason, his buddy, who we did the video on with the E46 and the E30, he broke an axle first day at Speed Sports and didn't get to drive too. So neither of them were driving at the first out-of-town event for them. So yeah, I'm going on too long. Anyways, yes, I feel so bad for them that I will give them my cars and stuff. So that's, how do we make this about me?
Yeah.
Make it about Adam.
No, it's
it on
the
me.
same concept, like the fear of letting people down. Like, I stand behind my image and all the stuff that I do on YouTube, and I want people to, have a great experience and be like, yeah, I hung out, and like Adam was a great dude, and like I had fun, because like, we remember more so the one person that's super bummed or upset more than the hundreds of people that are happy.
Oh, absolutely.
Which sucks, but it's hard to keep everyone happy, and I think you do a good job at it on trips like this.
Thanks, I try so hard. This is also, it's such a weird bespoke type event that you don't, like you normally, if you go to a drift event, you get mobbed because there's spectators. This is during the week, and like all the events are crammed together, so it's probably very good for you. For the reasons why you get mobbed, and like it must be relaxing is what I'm saying.
That was one of my favorite
Super
things
relaxing.
about the first Drift Week, was that I normally associate going to events with like feeling very anxious and introverted because I don't have those boundaries. And like, to be fair, FD this year, the no spectators is like bad and like bummer as it is. It was also cool because it let me focus and kind of be more chill because of what we're explaining. Not that I don't like the people there, but it just really, I'm just always like fearful of like letting someone down or someone not having a good experience, especially when people come from so far. That stresses me out more than anything.
Yeah.
Because they come from far, and like if they had a bad experience or didn't get to say hi or whatever.
I'm always terrified to let people down that put a lot of effort into it. If you just like walked across the street or something, it's no big deal, but you have people that literally drive 8 hours to see you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of...
And like I'm not an entertainer.
Yeah.
I'm not an entertainer by any means. Like Alexi came to your event and like put on a show and like was playing games with people. I'm like sitting in my car like awkwardly waving and like taking a picture, not knowing what to do with myself. Like
Alexi was ridiculously good at that. I did not expect him to do that.
I know.
Because normally, again, I don't think weeb is an insult, but he like his crowd and all those people are very Japan focused and very focused on certain things.
It's because he's a weeb himself. Like he like makes fun of weebs, but that's what he is.
Right, but I wouldn't think that those type of people would be so outgoing, but they're very outgoing. And he's so good with the crowd, it's amazing. I was just blown away. Because I was like, what are we going to do with all these people that came to see you? And he's like playing games with them, and like everyone is locked into his eyes. He's amazing. I just like, do I yell at them? What do I do? I don't know what to do. Okay, next subject. Does your life get better every year? You obviously scale in YouTube numbers, you get more attention, all these things, but does all this attention, money, fame, cars, does 24 race cars make you happy? Does a mansion make you happy? What makes you happy? Are you getting happier?
I think one of the best moves I made after the first Drift Week, that was kind of like Mike's test run. So like hiring Mike and getting to take the everyday videos and like editing every day and filming every day off my plate has given me so much more freedom, not necessarily to live a better life, but to work on things that I'd previously pushed aside. So like building my brand better and like doing better drops and like managing that better, managing the warehouse at home, or even work on my personal life. Like, now I have, it's been really busy and not the best time, but I can spend time with Colette and I can do things and leave the shop not at midnight. And it's been cool to be able to, kind of step forward in that direction. But then we just end up overloading ourselves with more other stuff. But I'd say, this past year for sure, like I feel like a much different person than last year, just in stress level, and I feel like I'm progressing again as a human, where before I kind of felt like I dug myself into a rut with YouTube. So.
Okay. I'll finish this up so you can get out of here.
Do you want to talk about anything with FD? I think you're planning to talk about FD.
Oh, I wasn't planning. You want to talk about FD?
I don't care. We were talking about it before.
Tell me what you want to tell me about FD.
There's nothing I want to tell you.
Yeah, no, he wants to talk about FD. Talk about FD.
You're a very polarizing person when it comes to FD, so I figured you'd want to talk about it.
I'm not a polarizing person. See, he's trying to put me under the bus saying something.
What do you mean put you under the bus? Yeah. You are a polarizing person.
Okay, I'm polarizing. So, I've been hosting Formula D qualifying and licensing events forever. I don't plan to stop. It has morphed into different things, and it's quite different than it used to be 10 years ago. I like FD and everything, but of course, FD is different for everybody. I want to make sure that if someone is going to do it, they're prepared for it, and it is a massive undertaking. Like, massive. Do you agree?
Oh, for sure. I'd be actually kind of interested to like throw this question at you, because I feel like you have such a strong opinion when it comes to like people doing FD or like if they should go to FD or not. Like in a totally unbiased opinion, like what were your thoughts when I like took my first step into FD and Pro 2? What are your thoughts now? Like, do you think I'm crazy? Like, it'd be really interesting for me to hear.
Okay. When you went to Formula D, I thought that is a choice of time and effort and everything, and I was wondering if it was the best decision for you. You have almost, is your audience bigger or smaller than FD, do you think?
Bigger, for sure.
Okay, so his audience is bigger than FD, so he could, it's not to build his brand or do anything, it's only to challenge him. Mm-hmm. And at the moment, he was already driving with Chelsea and Vaughn and like everybody on the side, so it wasn't about getting to drive with the best drivers in the world, because you already were. You could drive at any track in the world you wanted to. You could drive whatever car and all this stuff. You were making a choice to go sit in a car and grid for 2 hours between laps. Yeah. You were choosing to make your life monetarily much harder. You are choosing to do all the stressful things, and you already live such a stressful life. I was wondering if it's a path to burnout and a path to not having like. Drift Week is an example of something drifters can do, such as Brandon Wicknick, yourself, Dan Brockett, myself, all these people that probably shouldn't, you're not in that group, but probably shouldn't be in Formula D, because most of us don't have the ability to focus on what it takes to be a professional racer and what it takes to, if you need tires, come and get them. There's a driver that needs tires. What it takes to do all this stuff. The rest of us don't. It's too much. It just affects our lives too much. So I was thinking about that. Would it affect your life negatively too much? And I was just thinking about everything's an opportunity cost. Could you do something cooler with your time? You could build an entire track. You could build a mini Ebisu in America. God, just walking into our set doing something. Hurry up. But keep going. There's somebody getting tires, because we are in the tire room. So everything's an opportunity cost. I was worried about you burning yourself out or not doing something else that's better, such as building an American Ebisu, or you could, like Cletus did. Cletus went and built a track, and you talked to me about building a track and stuff, and like I think it's an amazing idea. You could do that kind of stuff. You're almost spending as much in several years of Formula D as it would take to build a track. Do you agree?
For sure.
Yeah. So it's an opportunity cost, and that would allow you to do something more unique with your time and money and experience. And your sponsors would probably love to pitch in on a track and probably pay for a ton of it and do all this stuff. It'd be a really creative thing to do with your time and money and everything else. And I see so many rich people get into Formula D and burn off millions of dollars over the course of a couple years. And that money could be spent better doing something else, I think. I understand people love professional racing, but I think that there's not enough new tracks being built and operated and creative things being done, because we're burning money doing this. Look at this, we're literally burning money. God, these tires are so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is.
Let's get out of the tires. Ugh. I'd rather sit on the ground.
I'll go down to one tire.
Okay. Oh, he just wants to be higher than me.
No, I'll just need a backrest. My back is really bad right now.
Oh. So what do you think about that? Do you think that you could have done something better with your time and money?
Water. Yeah, for sure. I think goddamn, I'm sitting in the goddamn water, dude. Not cool. Yeah, but I think for me at the time, it was more so we had built the S15 with Ninjuku, and my idea was like, I don't want to do FD, but like, it's so cool that they're driving these crazy level cars, and I want one so I can drive with them. And then I built it and realized that none of them use their pro cars for anything other than FD. They all
there's too much maintenance.
Yeah, they all have demo cars that make like half the power and run like scrubs for tires compared to the tires we run for FD. So I built that car, and then I was like, man, I really want to use this car. Mm-hmm. And then FD was really the only avenue, and at the time, the Pro 2 schedule was very achievable for me, because it was like Orlando, which is right in my backyard, then Atlanta, which wasn't that far, St. Louis, and Texas. Mm-hmm. So for Pro 2, it was kind of like a no-brainer season. Definitely a challenge jumping into it. And then I think the coolest thing that kind of came from it that I wouldn't really expect is it gave all the people that work with me, like my team, my friends, my family, like more of a sense of belonging and a sense of accomplishment, because, you know, what we typically do is just kind of like aimless fun, right? There's no real goal, there's no real tangible thing to shoot for, there's no real deadlines that really matter in a grand scheme, where FD is kind of like adds that little bit of organization to give everyone that kind of satisfaction and like a sense of belonging, and a very expensive one at that, but even for the followers as well is cool. I very much so like to identify myself as like a driver that does YouTube rather than a YouTuber that does driving. And I think to take that step to go into professional motorsport while being a YouTuber is something that takes a lot of time and dedication to pull off, because like you said, there's so many other things that could be done. So I don't know, a lot of my friends that do YouTube as well are very like pumped on it, because it shows like, we're not stuck in our YouTube life where we can't still do things like that at the same time. So I don't know. It does cost a lot of money, and I'm scared about next year because it's going to be double the amount of time required. I only did Pro 1 this year because of the COVID schedule.
Do you ever feel guilty about not... Oh my God, the Mustang's on track. Do you ever feel guilty about not doing enough with your time and money and everything? Because everything, again, is an opportunity cost, and you could bring so much more joy to your like followers, the people that... How do I say this? You could get boring, you could not bring enough joy to your followers, and you could lose them. How about that? Do you worry about keeping everyone happy and doing the best thing that you could with your time and effort and resources? When I say money, I should say resources.
Yeah.
Because it's sponsor money, it's all these different things. Do you put much thought into that? Or are you just like, let's go do burnouts today?
No, I'm like so ADD that I feel like if I would get bored before my audience does.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing the same thing over and over again, I would get bored way before like people start commenting, you've been doing the same thing forever.
Yeah.
Like,
You have been doing something similar for a while, though. You're doing car stuff. Before you're doing BMX, now you're doing car stuff. It's repetitive in the way that you're buying cars and building them, which is awesome. But you know what I mean? Like your time could be spent climbing mountains. It could be spent saving homeless people. I'm just making stuff up.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like everything, you could be saving the turtles.
I don't know, but I feel like cars it's such a broad topic that it's opened so many doors for me, whether it be like, on track at the Nürburgring, or doing drifting in Japan, or taking my drift car on a boat to Tasmania. Like, it's taken me all these crazy places that I would just never go on my own. So it's kind of like an avenue or a window, and it's just kind of my thing,
I completely understand that. I fall prey to the same thing. I was in real estate when I was younger, and it afforded me the ability to go do whatever I wanted. And then I just got into racing, and it's what I enjoy, and I just keep doing it. I mean, you're kind of addicted. It's like Carcane, whatever the joke is.
Yeah.
You don't really want to do anything else. It's what you enjoy. So it doesn't matter if everything is an opportunity cost, because I just choose what I want to do, and I'm stuck with that path, and I'm spoiled now. Like, I assume you're so freaking spoiled that you don't want to go do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah, it is very much so a time thing, though. I feel like I've been really wanting to go to Hawaii and just like lay on a beach, but I just don't think I could, because there's no like content. But like there's certain countries where I can go, and I'm like, all right, well I know I can go to Australia, which is like a bucket list place that I've always wanted to go, and I know that I can go hang out with Luke, and the content just like happens. Like I don't need to try, and then I can also do fun stuff, and he does a really great job at like balancing that for me when I've been there, and those have been some of my favorite trips. I'm so bummed that they're not here.
Oh God, they're crazy. My life is almost easier without them, but then they're so good he's so charismatic and like holds the group together pretty well.
Well, and Tiana did all the Airbnbs, and like she sorted a lot for everyone.
Yeah, she's good at that.
Yeah.
She's like a drift mom. Yeah. Everyone's scared of her kind of thing, and just like does what she says, which is good because she yells at children. So.
Yeah, so like the Airbnb, everyone's paying Tiana, or they're like getting stabbed when they sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we all paid her. No one didn't pay her. My Airbnb group's not doing well.
That's why I made that comment.
Yeah. He's jerking me around with this right now. I'm really bad at collecting money from people.
Yeah.
I don't even sell merch, really. You like kill it on merch and all these different things. I don't do any of this stuff. I made Drift Week. I'm not even wearing it. I'm wearing BC Racing stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, any other topics before we end?
No, I don't know. Can you think of anything? Do you want anything about the car?
Well, you could choose any car in the world to drive. You could choose supercars. Oh my God, you should just like ball out of control and do like some stupid Lambo for Drift Week.
Ew.
It would be so awful.
I'd probably catch on fire in like the first 3 minutes.
I mean, I don't even need to talk about this. I think everybody knows why you drive this. It's a great car. It's fun. It's high enough to get over everything. You enjoy it.
The extra power added this year is kind of unnecessary, though. I feel like it's caused more issues than anything.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're acting like me now.
What do you mean?
You're just like, oh, it's modified.
Yeah.
You're like, gross.
Yeah.
But everybody wants that. Everybody like dreams about that. And then I tell everybody all the time, I'm like, every modification to your car was not made by a Toyota engineer that spent millions and millions of hours like researching this, and you just made the car worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did like arms this year, so like I have arms now and like subframe bushings. Where before it was like stock.
Yeah.
But it like sucked because it's so bent that I couldn't align it straight, so that wasn't fun on the highway. But yeah, no, it works well and it's cool that it makes cool noises now. But all these tracks we've driven, I haven't found the extra power necessary.
Yeah. No, my car's like cheater mode. I brought the V8 car, and it just like does anything out here. It's easy, it's fun. All right, I think that's about it. Give me 10 seconds to think about something. I can ask him anything. I wish I would have asked the YouTube people, like the subscribers.
Oh,
I'm sure you're.
I don't mind doing another one of these if you want.
Okay,
Yeah,
but I
if you
mean, I'm
want
not
to
gonna
post
go
this
get better questions. I think this is mostly everything. Ooh, I know. Have you learned anything on these Drift Week trips? I learn stuff all the time,
Like driving?
just in general.
Maybe.
You said keep your car stock.
Yeah, maybe like alignment stuff. I feel like driving a bunch of different tracks with different surfaces and tire pressures and stuff, it's made me a lot more analytical because I'm like kind of trying stuff and like changing alignment setups a lot. I feel like driving with all these different people, I can kind of like learn different tricks for following certain people who have this type of entry. And more than anything, kind of something that I've done with BMX, I do with drifting. And like I piece together tracks in my head. So then when I go to FD and I only have 3 practice laps and then have to compete, I can like be like, oh, well this straight feels just like North Course. And I just need to make sure I get on throttle in this zone. And Drift Week, like there's lots of little pieces that I take away from each track, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm very bad at that. I'm the driver that just like thinks about nothing and drives in and just like throws the car and just like drives. I'm so bad at planning anything out. So.
I wish I could do that though, because that's been one of my issues with FD is I can't practice day. Every single day I am garbage, like can barely link the track, like way off on the zones, and then I need like a day to collect myself and like think and look at the footage and like, oh, I'm doing that, or oh, that's why that's happening. But I can't just like go out and just full send right off the bat.
Yeah. Oh, I do have a question. 5-year plan.
5-year plan.
Do you have one?
Did I show you the thing on my phone? The place?
Yeah.
That would be a pretty cool 5-year plan.
Yeah.
That's
Now you're just trolling people because they don't get to see.
I think I like said something about it on Twitter, basically.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like a big property with like houses and buildings and just more space than I know what to do with right now. So it makes me like feel excited to just like, if I want to make a video making this house look cooler, so I can do this, and then I could like make a ATV track. Like I need space to do things.
Oh, and the 5-year plan. Have you ever been outside of Florida?
What do you mean?
Have you ever left Florida? Yes, you have. The question is, why do you live in Florida? Florida's awful.
I don't know. I feel like one of my biggest values as a person or an entity is kind of like the group that I've acquired, like all the people that
So
work
it's
with
all your
me
friends.
and stuff. Yes, my friends, but also the people I work with that I value so much that I know are like key to me being able to do all the things that I do and build cars the way that I do. And
You can take them with you. That's not fair, though.
We kind of did like loosely have that conversation at FD that like everyone's down to move to Texas, but I don't know if I like Texas that much more than Florida.
No, you need like Colorado or like some beautiful place.
I don't know.
You don't know? I'm just saying
it's
you.
more fun to like travel because I feel like it would almost be worse to like be in this amazing place but not be able to enjoy it. Does that
Move
make
to
sense?
Texas and build a track. He's like, no, do it.
I don't know.
You're gonna go buy this big dream property and then you're like nailed into Florida forever. The summers there are so brutal.
Yeah, no, it sucks. I'm not gonna be there in the summer.
Oh, he just leaves. I get it. He winters in Florida.
Yeah.
And you summer in Connecticut?
I tried to.
Yeah.
I couldn't really this year because of FD.
I forget rich people have summer homes and winter homes.
I stay with my friend Grant.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your winter home is Grant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, summer home.
Oh, summer. I'm sorry. I forget where he summers.
Grant was supposed to come. I'm bummed he didn't make it. Was it Grant talking to you about coming?
He said he was gonna come and then he ghosted me.
Yeah, I think. Well, he got a house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The same thing Taylor did.
Yeah, but I needed a bigger summer house, so Grant prioritized that. You know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotta keep you happy.
Yeah.
Okay. When's Drift Week 3?
Hopefully not soon.
Not soon.
Yeah, let's not do it in like February or March.
Where should we go?
I would like to do something different scenery.
Pacific Northwest?
I think either that or maybe if we could like do some sort of trip that like I feel like it'd be way too difficult to go into Canada. But like the north of the United States, so we have different scenery. Like go to US Air, go to maybe something in like the Chicago, Michigan area. I don't really know any of those states.
Yeah, I feel like everything's kind of far apart there. Like if we did the Pacific Northwest, we could hit a lot of tracks at once.
But maybe we could like creatively like reach out to some sponsors that are like kind of scattered out in that area that can like facilitate use of like a big parking lot that we can create our own experience. It would just be cool to have a different change of scenery.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking Pacific Northwest.
I mean, that's still cool. But it's not that big.
There's a lot of tracks up there.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about we could have almost no travel days that way. I mean, like, we still have travel days, but we could pack it even more track days in there. But, all right, I'll think about it. I have to figure out the date for the next one. I don't know when to do it because everybody in FD, Matt Field and Chelsea and a bunch of people, Dan, Rad Dan, and a bunch of other people wanted to do Drift Week 3, but they were actually asking me to do it in February, March again, and I'm like, that is so soon.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's too soon, guys.
That would be tough. But I feel like one thing that would be cool, so I've done some of those like stupid rally things where like all the people drive their Ferraris and like just drive places.
He's talking about rich people things.
Yeah, but like I'm just going because I'm an influencer.
Yeah.
I don't like, it's so much money to do those.
Yeah.
That would suck. But one that I did was adventure drives. It was really cool because it kind of like pushed the driving aside more so for like experiences and stuff. So what I mean by that for Drift Week would be like, we have not only a travel day, but like a tourist day, for lack of a better word. Like, okay, we're in the Pacific Northwest. On this day, we are driving to these springs, and everyone's going tubing.
Yep.
Like, I feel like that would build a better sense of community, because I feel like that's something that this Drift Week lacks compared to the last one, because we're more so scattered and not doing the more stuff like that together.
Pacific Northwest, everyone gets a little piece of cocaine, or no, heroin. They're heroin now.
I'm being serious.
It's legal.
Do you?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I kind of let everybody do that on their own right now. The drifting stuff, everyone breaks up really badly on the in-between days because there's so much work on the cars.
Yeah.
The supercar adventures, it's easy to be like, let's go rafting. And when Sai and I go like off-roading and like I go off-roading with other people, we absolutely go rafting and do other stuff. But this is so abusive on the cars, everybody's working on the cars, so it's hard to do in-between stuff. But I could do it as optional things.
Well, yeah, and they can bail if they don't want to go. But I feel like it gives more direction.
Yeah.
Like, we're in New Orleans. I've never been to New Orleans before, and I would have loved if we all went out as a group, like downtown or something. It would be really cool.
We could go tonight.
Yeah. Well, like since we're getting kicked out of the track early.
Yeah.
Is that not going in the video, or is that?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. I think that's it. Thank you so much for coming on Drift Week. You're one of the integral parts of it that holds it together, that gets us in places, so I really appreciate it. Without the influencers and stuff, we clearly couldn't do Drift Week because it's a really weird event. It's just not normal. It doesn't monetize like a normal thing. You know, there's not spectators. We can't get people in through the gate. It's really kind of a quasi-influencer media type thing with a bunch of grassroots guys and pro guys like tossed in. It's a concept piece. There we go. Yeah. That's kind of working. I didn't think it was going to work so well. Adam is a part that makes it work really well, so I want to thank you and everything, and I should make all the other drivers thank you. That's it.
Well, and thank you for putting it together, because I'm terrified of putting together events ever. Like, it is so much work and logistically planning tracks and.
Oh, this was a breeze.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair though, like one of the words that Aaron often uses, I don't know if it's been said in videos, he continually describes Drift Week as a rolling shit show. So it kind of continually like places any blame for anything that goes wrong off of him, because he's like, what did you expect? This is what I told you.
Well, to be fair, it's a different venue almost every day with a different staff, with like everything. It's going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
It's like running a drift car. A drift car is going to break. A drift event is going to break unless I run like the exact same drift event all the time at the same place, but that can get really stagnant, and this is really different. It allows me to operate all over the country and stuff, and eventually all over the world, independent of like my region, who can't afford to like just infinitely have more events put on top of them. So it lets me, I don't want to say expand, because I just do this because I'm an idiot and doesn't necessarily make money or anything, but this is like an adventure. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Boom. Let's go drive.